Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your daily English dose, the channel where we explore fascinating real-world events to help boost your English skills.
Hi, everyone. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something pretty historic. Sanae Takaichi becoming Japan's first female prime minister back in October 2025.
And it's more than just, a first. This happened during a really intense time politically, didn't it? Like a real pressure cooker.
Oh, absolutely. She came to power when things were incredibly turbulent.
Mm.
Her party was dealing with internal fights, these huge funding scandals, electoral losses.
Right, they just lost their majority in parliament, so the ruling coalition was really, well, grappling with a lot.
Exactly. And we've looked at a lot of material covering her background, her economic ideas, Takaeconomics, they call it, and her pretty strong views on security.
So our goal today is to break down the key facts, what it means geopolitically, and crucially for you listening, pull out some really useful everyday English vocabulary related to all this politics, economics, you name it.
Okay, so let's start with the situation in her party, the Liberal Democratic Party, the LDP. It was chaotic.
Total free fall, it sounds like. They were struggling with these internal conflicts, and the fallout from that big slush fund scandal was huge.
It really was. A genuine political vacuum opened up after the previous leader stepped down. Takaichi won the leadership race, first leading the initial round, then beating Shinjiro Koizumi in the runoff.
So a clear win within the party, but you mentioned the foundation was fragile.
Extremely fragile because, get this, just days after she won, Komeito, the LDP's coalition partner for, 25 years?
Yeah. A long time.
They just walked away, dissolved the partnership.
That's massive. A huge vote of no confidence right at the start.
It really is. Now, Komeito said it was about the LDP's poor response to the scandal, sure, but they also pointed fingers directly at Takaichi.
At her specifically. Why?
Her revisionist views on history, things she'd said that were described as xenophobic remarks, that was part of their stated reason. And boom, suddenly she's leading a minority government.
Minority government. So, no majority in parliament. That means to get anything significant done, policy-wise, she needs support from opposition parties.
Precisely. So from day one, she is, as you said, grappling with these massive constraints.
And that phrase, grappling with, it's a good one. It means really trying hard to understand or deal with something difficult, a big problem or situation.
Yeah, like the government is grappling with how to survive politically day to day.
And you can use it for everyday things too, right? Like, I'm really grappling with understanding this new software update. It suggests a real struggle.
Exactly. A tough challenge. Okay, so moving on. Despite the rocky start, her becoming PM is undeniably a huge historical moment for Japan.
Definitely. I mean, Japan's a major developed country, but is always ranked pretty low on gender equality measures. So first female PM, that's a big deal.
It is, but here's the paradox, the contradiction. She makes history, yes, but she's known as a star of the ultra-conservative right.
Ultra-conservative. So her actual policies, they aren't really aligned with promoting gender equality or diversity?
Not according to the sources, no. Her policy stance is described as far removed from that. She actually opposes quite a few social liberalization measures.
Like what specifically?
Well, things like maintaining the male-only imperial succession line. She's against same-sex marriage, and she objected to changes that would let married couples keep separate surnames.
So some commentators might see her appointment as maybe just superficial, like the LDP gets credit for having a female leader, but it doesn't actually change the party's direction on women's issues.
That's exactly the interpretation some analysts offer. They question if her leadership actually means Japanese politics will become friendlier for women.
Interesting. The idea being her gender provides a kind of superficial diversity, maybe even helps protect the traditional system because she's defending it from within that system.
That's the argument.
Yeah.
That it might reinforce conservative norms rather than challenge them. It's a complex dynamic.
Wow, yeah. Politics is complicated, but still, regardless of the policy debates, getting to that top job in such a traditionally male-dominated system, that itself is a huge breakthrough, isn't it?
Perfect word, a breakthrough. It means a sudden, important discovery or development, like overcoming a major barrier.
We hear it in science, like a medical breakthrough, but it works for personal stuff too. I finally had a breakthrough in my English pronunciation, or even we had a breakthrough in our negotiations.
Exactly. It signals real progress against difficulty. Now let's talk a bit about Takaichi herself, the person. Her background is pretty unusual for the LDP.
How so?
Well, she's described as a self-made politician. Comes from Nara Prefecture. Her father was a factory worker, her mother a police officer. It's quite different in a party where you see a lot of hereditary politicians, political dynasties.
Okay, so not from a political family. And her reputation.
It's built on being incredibly knowledgeable about policy, a policy wonk, and just working incredibly hard, a real workaholic.
A workaholic. We all know someone like that, right? Someone who just works constantly, maybe too much.
Right. Compulsively working. And her CV shows that depth. She's held major ministerial jobs like science and technology, economic security, internal affairs. She knows her stuff.
But then there's this other side to her persona that seems unexpected.
Definitely. She's apparently a huge heavy metal fan,
Yeah.
played the drums in college, even known as a former biker chick.
Wait, really? A heavy metal drummer, former biker chick, running one of the world's biggest economies? That's quite an image, very different from the usual sort of buttoned-up image of Japanese politicians.
It is, and she's earned the nickname the Iron Lady, like Margaret Thatcher. That combination, the policy depth, plus this strong, maybe unconventional image, it seems to resonate with certain voters.
Resonate with, that's another good one. It means an idea or a person connects with someone emotionally or seems important to them.
Exactly. Her style might resonate with people who like strong conservative leaders, and she's very clearly identified as a protege of the late Shinzo Abe.
Ah, okay. So her leadership signals continuity with his agenda.
Very much so. Continuing Abe's focus on revitalizing the economy, strengthening defense, and keeping that U.S.-Japan alliance rock solid.
Right. Let's dig into that economic vision then. Tech economics. You said it's like Abenomics?
It's seen as an extension, yes. She advocates for what's called a high-pressure economy policy, basically using aggressive government spending fiscal policy to boost supply capacity.
Okay, advocate for. That just means to publicly support or recommend something, right? Like she advocates for more spending. It's a bit stronger than just support.
Exactly. She strongly pushes for this growth-first approach.
But hang on. Aggressive spending. Japan already has enormous government debt. Isn't that incredibly risky?
Well, that's the balancing act. There is huge risk. She's had to dial back some of the most aggressive talk, acknowledging that eventually fiscal consolidation will be necessary.
So a nod to needing to control the debt later on. Probably to avoid scaring the markets, like what happened in the UK with Liz Truss.
Precisely. That trust shock, where big unfunded tax cuts cause chaos in the currency and bond markets, is exactly what Tokyo wants to avoid. So there's some moderation there.
Interesting. So her philosophy seems more focused on, say, rewarding hard work, things like tax credits, rather than maybe focusing on social safety nets for the vulnerable.
That seems to be the emphasis. And her big sort of populist promise to win support quickly,
What's that?
getting rid of the provisional taxes on gasoline and diesel fuel. It's a big revenue cut, about 1.5 trillion yen, but it's a concrete thing she can offer and potentially a key bargaining chip with the opposition.
Makes sense politically. Okay, beyond the economy, what are her other big priorities?
Security. Definitely security. She's known as a security hawk, big time.
Meaning she wants to boost defense capabilities.
Absolutely. She aims to speed up defense spending to hit that 2% of GDP target by 2027, and this links into industrial policy, too. Well, strengthening Japan's industrial resilience, especially in high-tech areas. Things like AI, advanced semiconductors, quantum technology, building up domestic strength in critical sectors.
Resilience. That's a great word, especially for intermediate or advanced learners. It means toughness, the ability to bounce back quickly from problems or difficulties.
Yeah, you hear it a lot in policy discussions. Economic resilience, supply chain resilience, but it applies personally, too. Like, kids often show amazing resilience when facing change, or building mental resilience helps manage stress.
Good one to remember. Okay, so strong on defense, strong on the economy. What about internationally? How does her leadership play out geopolitically?
Well, this is where things get tricky again. She's definitely a China hawk, very skeptical of Beijing.
Okay, and her views on history. That causes issues, right?
Yes, significant friction. Her regular visits to the Yasukuni Shrine, which honors war dead, including convicted war criminals, and her arguments that wartime history, particularly atrocities, are exaggerated. That creates real tension.
Friction, meaning disagreement or conflict between people or groups, like rubbing surfaces causing resistance.
Exactly. China and South Korea see her stance as showing a lack of remorse for the past. That causes diplomatic friction. It's like saying his comments cause friction within the team.
Or even, there's some friction between me and my neighbor about the fence. So this historical stance, it's not just symbolic, it has real consequences. Like, Komeito leaving the coalition partly because of it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It limited her power right away, but ironically, her tough stance and focus on defense spending actually align her well with strengthening the U.S.-Japan alliance.
Ah, so Washington might appreciate her commitment to boosting defense.
Potentially, yes. But even there could be stress points. Some voices in the U.S. want Japan to spend even more on defense, maybe up to 5% of GDP. Plus, Takaichi has previously criticized some trade deals involving the U.S., so it's not entirely smooth sailing.
Okay. And domestically, looking long term, are there any major sort of blind spots in her approach?
One big one often pointed out is demographics. She takes a very hard line on immigration.
But Japan's population is shrinking and aging rapidly. Don't they desperately need more workers?
That's the conflict, exactly.
Right.
Her stance prioritizes, you could say, cultural tradition or homogeneity over the clear economic need for more labor to sustain growth. It's seen as a major demographic blind spot, potentially jeopardizing long-term economic health.
Tradition versus economic necessity. That's a tough one. Anything else raising concerns?
Well, there's her plan for a new national intelligence agency. The goal is to fight cyber attacks, which is obviously important. But given her somewhat confrontational relationship with the media in the past, some worry this could lead to increased government monitoring of news outlets, social media, maybe even creating a bit of a surveillance society under the banner of national security.
Right, a potential trade-off between security and freedom of information. So it really comes down to this core conflict for her administration, doesn't it?
Absolutely. She seems caught between her strong, hardline ideological purity, which appeals to her base but costs her the coalition partner, and the practical need for political effectiveness, especially now, leading a minority government.
Which requires, well, it requires deals. It requires giving things up to get other things done.
Exactly. It requires compromise.
Compromise, such a vital word, works as a noun and a verb. It's about reaching an agreement where each side concedes something, gives up a little bit.
Yep. You need compromise in politics, in business negotiations, even in personal relationships. Marriage requires compromise. Or let's try to compromise. We can go to the concert if you help me study tomorrow.
So her whole time in office is essentially going to be a stress test, right? Can she find that compromise needed to govern effectively without completely alienating her core supporters? Or will sticking to her guns lead to political deadlock and maybe even collapse?
That's the central question. Her ability, or inability, to navigate that need for practical compromise will likely define her premiership. It's a fascinating situation to watch unfold.
It really is. And following these kinds of complex global events is such a good way to boost your English, especially with this kind of vocabulary related to government, economics, international relations.
Definitely. Remember those words and phrases we highlighted. Grappling with, breakthrough, workaholic, resonate with, advocate for, resilience, friction, and compromise. Try using them yourself.
So, turning it over to you now. What are your thoughts on Sanae Takaichi becoming Japan's first female prime minister? Considering she's leading a minority government, what challenges or maybe opportunities do you see ahead for her? Let us know your perspective down in the comments.
Thank you for joining us on your daily English dose.
Yeah, thanks everyone. If you found this deep dive helpful for your English learning journey, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next exploration into using real-world topics for English learning. Until next time, keep practicing, stay informed, and keep learning. Bye for now.